Fighting games are. Did
Fighting games
no, I was about to-
fighting games are getting compromised. If you want to be topical, with
I don't know.
fighting games. Yeah.
I do not know what you mean. Explain.
So, well, first things first. I'm gonna put the bingo card on screen. There you have it. All right, you can do a screen cap and play along if you feel. Anyway, so first topic, and it's an important one, which is why I brought it up like this. BlazBlue Centralfiction, I think, is the game. Okay, just BlazBlue. I don't know which one, but one of the BlazBlues is compromised currently. The online.
Ha!
So there's apparently an exploit where people can download and maybe even execute malicious data and disguise it as a DLL that the game needs to run. So
Amazing.
yeah, so the people who are running whichever game this is, either it can only be like one of two games. So, but yeah, the people have been notified. They are working on a way to stop this, but for now, they recommend playing only in lobbies if you're gonna play the game online, or like private lobbies. I mean, and
way ahead of you.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Just don't play with randos for now because you don't know who's gonna download whatever on your PC and just fucking compromise it.
Centralfiction is still delay based, right?
No.
Really?
Yeah. They
Damn, there goes my easy joke.
Like they had the rollback in the beta for a while, and then we thought about playing it during the beta, and we just never got around to it. And now I think it's in the main branch too.
Okay.
So everyone has rollback now. But I would assume it's also at least partially what made this exploit happen, and hopefully they can fix it fast.
Well, the weird part is, like, I've never heard of this being a thing with any other game that has rollback. What'd they do?
Well, that's the thing. Like rollback is like like there's as many solutions for rollback as there are people using rollback. So I don't know if the people who did
and Japanese companies usually have a "did we make it, then we won't use it" kind of policy. So they'll use rollback, but they have to make their own rollback formula. They refuse to accept someone else's.
Yeah, and also you have to consider, like, I don't know if this is the same team that worked on XX, but I don't. Yeah.
XX's was done by Lab Zero. Remember? They brought Mike Z in, took his rollback, and then fired him.
Yeah. It wasn't completely done by Lab Zero. It was done by Mike Z and other people who volunteered, and then they all got hired by Arxis, and then Arxis fired Mike Z.
Yeah. BlazBlue was almost certainly done more in-house or by a Japanese studio, because I've never heard of BlazBlue's rollback team at all.
Then yeah, so this may be a BlazBlue only problem. So just don't play BlazBlue for now. I know this is hard for us specifically because we just can't stop playing BlazBlue.
Yep.
Does this count as unnecessary dunking on BlazBlue? I'm not even saying that it's bad. I'm saying that we don't like it.
That was uncalled for dunking on BlazBlue. Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy. Well, the funny thing about that bingo card is that we're going to have to update it in like a year or two, just because there's a spot that's Street Fighter 6 speculation, and that's not going to last forever.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're still using the old one with the old logo, because like it's gonna get outdated. We'll have to get updated. Then I'll just make one with the new logo then.
Yeah.
So yeah. Unless. Okay. I guess in similar news, Bandai Namco has also been struck with a ransomware, and I have not.
I saw a supposed leak for their schedule for the next couple of years, but I heard it was fake.
I have not seen any leaks that supposedly come from this. Really, like, my thing here is that I just hope that if the ransomware group stole information, I just hope that it's business stuff and not, like regular Joe's, like, home number and shit like that. Because business information sucks. Like, business information leaking and stuff like that sucks because it delays entertainment products and stuff like that. I'd rather get delayed entertainment products than, people's lives just being like people's private information just being put on the internet.
I mean, for these guys who are just looking to make a quick buck,
They
for
don't
illicit
care.
means, I don't think they really care. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I hope that if they got any information, I hope it's business related. Because, like, yeah.
I mean, these kinds of guys can see anything as payback in some fashion, some form, you know?
Yeah.
For some imagined slight.
But yeah, so this happened, I wanna say, when was this? I can actually check. This was a week ago that I have heard of this, and I have not heard any updates since then, so maybe still ongoing, I don't know.
Huh. Is there any news that you've heard about fighting games that isn't just them getting fucked?
Yes.
Because I know there's been a lot of instances of journalists and game YouTubers and such getting to play Street Fighter 6 early, which honestly, not to be preemptive and be overly optimistic, which I have a tendency to be with Street Fighter 6, but is it not a really fucking good sign that the game is so far away from release and they're still like, let's get the journalists to play it so they can talk about how fucking good it is?
Probably, but yeah, I guess I'll move on.
You've heard of giving a review copy out a week ahead. We're giving a 6-month ahead review copy.
Yeah. So I guess I'll hit that. Street Fighter 6 is playable at EVO, and we'll have announcements, supposedly.
That's going to be interesting, because if they get the pro players in and the pro players start trying to break it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Daigo, they're going to sit him down, and Daigo's going to be like, okay, what's the most advanced fucking link I can figure out in the space of an hour?
And not only that, they're gonna sit Daigo down, and then he's just gonna like do the full tournament, doing nothing but Evo 137, and then they got to his face and he's just frowning.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a question.
He doesn't want to be there, but he has to do it.
Huh. So you're going to stick with Guile and 6, or are you going to go back to Shotos?
It depends, because partially, if I remember correctly, he switched to Guile because Ryu got nerfed or Ryu got changed in a way that didn't fit him, and that's why he started learning Guile. Also, he got a hitbox, and Guile is a lot easier and more fun, from what I hear, to play on a hitbox than Shotos. So he may just switch, or he may just stick with Guile.
All right.
But yeah, also, Skullgirls' final Season 1 character will be revealed at EVO.
Ooh, all right.
And it's not gonna be the Shock Doctor.
That I really hope after the 3 we've got so far all seem cool, but they're all clearly some degree of waifu characters, which is Skullgirls. What do you expect? The idea is that the majority of the roster should be women, but I really hope that the last pick is someone just insane, wacky, like Dr. Shark or the
fucking Zubaz. The last Season 1 character for Skullgirls is Zubaz.
Oh my god! I can't see Zubaz getting much more support now that the Super Best friends are dead, but that'd still be amazing.
I mean, I saw a post recently about an apparently newish, like, some sort of a fucking like porn animation that Zubaz was in like a framed picture in the background.
Of course.
I mean, look, he needs money. He'll take anything.
It's incredible how they were able to build connections with virtually everything in some way, fashion, shape, or form.
Yeah.
To the degree that when you go on that subreddit, you will see a thread talking about some anime next to a thread talking about racism, weird racism things, or, Canadian Prime Minister blackface.
Yeah.
Right next to a thread talking about Halo lore, right?
Yeah. But yeah, technically in Schoolgirls, like, Beowulf already has a Zubaz skin, but that's not enough. We need the Baz. Like, we just need him to be an actual character. He needs to have, like, an EX dive kick that does 50%.
Okay. Okay, so you got Philia and Fukua. Implement Baz as, like, a more detailed color swap of Beowulf, but he's just shittier.
And instead of the arm, he uses chains.
Well, you could still give him the old dive kick rope swing that he had in Dive Kick.
Yeah. But yeah, I would honestly pop if they went like, you know all of those cool characters that we have in the design doc that everyone can see. Yeah, none of them.
Yeah.
Zubaz.
Yeah. Well, what'd be real funny is if it's like, and I'm going to say something that's very you, but it still might check it off on the bingo card. What if the last one, not anyone from the design doc, it's Akuma. There's Akuma.
I mean, I'd at least have a main in Schoolgirls if they had an Akuma. Because like I like Big Ben.
Okay.
I like fucking Big Wolf Kak as a team, but like they're not that quite there. I'm not quite used to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Akuma, but he's heard that the skull power can only go to girls. So he's done like a Yori. Yeah.
Mrs. A.
Yeah. That would be the Akuma versus a Yori showdown we're all waiting for.
Yeah. I mean, if they... I don't know how much they could get away with. Like, without talking with Capcom. Because technically, if they change Akuma's design enough that he's recognizable, but just, put him into dragon shit, they could just put him into the game without having to consult Capcom. They would still probably get fucking sued, but still. Yeah?
Let's see. Can we put them in the game and just simply call them Akuma with tits while getting around copyright? If it's the same guys in the Capcom offices, they're like, yeah, Mugen's cool, then they might get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing I'm banking on for this thought is that parody laws exists, and they could just say, oh, it's not Akuma, it's a parody of Akuma.
A girlma.
Yeah, a girlma. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If they just take Akuma's moveset and just like fucking design someone like fucking Giovanna from Guilty Gear, I'm set. Like Giovanna already had most of Akuma's tools. That's why I brought her up.
Come to think of it, she's got the same skin tone and hair color. That never occurred to me.
Man, why does Eddie play this character? That oozes
something about dark-skinned redheads.
Why does Eddie play this character that oozes the Satsui no Hado?
Boy.
But yeah, so.
Okay, I got a question to ask you. Out of the leaked Street Fighter 6 cast, except for Akuma, who are you most excited for them to show off next?
Juri. I need to know.
That's a good pick.
I need to know if she's gone back to actually having movesets and stuff like that. Like, I want to see if she knows moves again.
Yeah. I'm very curious about that one, because that was very distinctively her identity in 5, and 5 had a much longer shelf life than 4 did. But at the same time, you can tell that Street Fighter 6 is trying to, like, be a crowd pleaser, trying to bring back the fans and all that. And I think Juri's moveset change was one of the most controversial. Juri was definitely the most controversial character change in 5. Definitely.
Yeah. And then
I almost feel like they're going to try and find some way to get both 4 and 5 Jury's kits into the game. You know, something like that.
I mean, they can have both 4 and 5 Jury's kits in the game. Just port 4 Jury's kit into the game because she could do this most of the stuff she could do in 5 anyway.
Yeah, the only thing I think she'd lose would be the oh, how am I forgetting it? I'm forgetting basic fighting game terminology. I've been away too long. I need to do a deep dive into fighting games for the next few months and get back in. But help me here. It is a Rekka. There we go. Street Fighter 4 Jury didn't have a Rekka, but that could just be her overdrives.
I don't remember what her Rekkas were in 5.
If you build up if you get the charge for all 3 of her Hadoken ones, it made a Rekka.
Just make that an EX charge, I think.
Yeah. I mean, one of them pretty well could just be an instant overhead anyway, so that's just already a good reason to spend meter for it.
Yeah. So, yeah. And who are you looking forward to the most that's not DJ or Zangief?
It's not DJ or Geef.
Blanca.
That's the thing, right? I won't say Blanca, but I've come to love Blanca more than I thought I ever would in the last year or two. It was like a switch flipped in my head from ew, Blanca stinky to yeah, Blanca!
I did the exact opposite. Like when we play charge characters, I will always play Blanca because Blanca has the Kano ball, and I used to play Kano, but like otherwise, when I was young, I looked at Blanca and I was like, well, I don't particularly like Blanca, but you know he's fine. And now when I look at Blanca and I'm just like, why is he here?
Yeah, that's always the issue I think people have with Blanca. Is from a story perspective, we have all these martial artists and these supernatural beings, and then here's this monkey man. Okay. You know, let me pull up the leaked list and look at it.
I believe if you scroll up, I don't know where, but it should be in the Discord because I posted it.
It would have been on the gaming tab, I think, which has been long since overridden.
Actually, okay, I can just post it again. Okay, no, you have it. All right, then.
Yeah, let's see. I am fascinated by Marisa's looks. The big, muscular Greek chick.
Yeah.
At the same time, T-Hawk's little sister. I'm interested in pretty well everyone out of that new character cast, except maybe the female Fong, but even she could be fun.
I don't know, like my thing with female Fong is that like they removed the part of Fong that I liked and kept the parts of Fong that I
stupid.
Yeah, and removed the parts that I didn't, which is actually playing Fong. Because like Fong was funny. Like, okay, how do I put this? Fong was fun.
I don't think they'll pull a Master Raven here. I think she'll have a very different play style.
I mean, if she does, then I'm fine with her. But you know, like my thing with Fong was that like I learned how to play Fong at an intermediate level or so, just to piss you off, and you being angry and Goku not being able to respond was funny. And that's the only thing I like in Fong, that everyone fucking hates him. He's a shit heel. Like you remove being a shit heel from Fong, and you remove the part of the character that was fun. You know.
Yeah, pretty well. I want to mention this real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
Were you also like incredibly disappointed when you saw Master Raven on the roster and you're like, okay, let's see how she's different from regular Raven? Oh, she's literally got the entire exact same fucking moveset regular Raven does.
Yes, but like, I was also disappointed because I like Wesley Snipes Raven, so I was like, well,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I love Master Raven's design.
I don't. That's the thing. Like, I hate robot ninjas. I think that's like the one constant that somehow I always hate robot ninjas. That's not Yoshimitsu. He's the exception.
Well, he's more of like a steampunk samurai than a robot ninja, really.
But like, I don't like Master
You
Raven.
remember in Soul
Yeah.
Calibur 3 when he had that arm made out of like wooden wheels
Yeah.
and cogs and pulleys
that,
and shit?
That was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I think out of all of the things we bring up, that's like the most consistent thing, or the thing that I'm most consistent on is that like I think Banderas was the name of the guy from KOF 14, the robot ninja there. I don't like Master Raven. I don't like who else are there that are robot ninjas?
Raiden.
Yeah,
Genji and Overwatch.
I actually don't like Raiden's design. I don't like the cyber suit.
Which
I like
one?
Raiden. Oh, Revengeance. That's the one I remember the most. Like I don't like the actual like the mech suit or whatever that Raiden has on. I don't like its design because it looks weird to me.
To be fair, it's his entire body. The only human part of Raiden is his
face.
spine and like like even the lower half of his lower jaw was taken out.
Yeah.
Which means Raiden doesn't have a tongue, come to think of it, or maybe he has a robot tongue.
Probably. But
Did the Patriots give Raiden the ability to taste still? That just occurred to me.
Probably not. I mean, like when his lower jaw got blown off or whatever, and he just lost his tongue. They were like, okay, good. We don't need to program the Rally Lulilo in. That saves us time.
Well, they probably didn't give him a sense of taste. But then the question arrives of, did Raiden then afterwards go to like Sonny or something like, give me a working tongue?
Yeah.
I can't eat tacos anymore. This is hell.
And then that's when
Raiden can't help me.
And that's when Raiden became Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think out of all of that list, Genji's the one I can tolerate the most because he looks the most classical ninja.
Gray Fox. What about Gray Fox?
Oh, Gray Fox. It depends on the day, honestly, with Gray Fox. Like, sometimes I look at him and I'm like, he's fine, and then sometimes I look at him and I go, he's too mech. But yeah, so I guess that's one robot ninja that I'm fine with. Maybe two, depending on the day.
Alright then.
So yeah, and anyway.
Man, when I look at the Street Fighter 6 roster, like, I know you are not big on Rashid and Luke, but other than them, like, that looks like just a roster of just all winners, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the new guys. Like, it's a thing of, like, the designs don't really speak to me, but at the same time, considering they're actually, like, trying to have a story mode and shit, maybe they'll get actual characters that are fun, you know?
Yeah. And it's launching with arcade mode, which inclines me to the possibility that they will actually have arcade mode endings.
Yeah.
Are they going to... that makes me wonder with Lily if they're going to finally deal with the whole Julie thing, right? Because what... Has Julie ever actually gone back to T-Hawk? Did Cammy ever get around to doing that? Or...
I don't know. Like, my Street Fighter lore, like, this goes for both Street Fighter and KOF, actually. But, like, my knowledge of these two series is very spotty. And when I actually know shit, it's usually focused on one character. And you'll never guess who that is.
Oh, well, I know you're just that big of a fan of Abel.
Yeah, I just know all of the things from Abel. Did you know that the new wrestler chick might have trained with Abel because of design stuff?
The new what chick?
There's a new chick who seems to be in like a gi and like wrestling or like grappler gloves and stuff like that. So I forget who it is. And I don't have the pictures pulled up because I'm lazy. But I mean, the problem isn't really that isn't just that I'm lazy. It's that I would need to actually look for it because I don't remember where I put it, and that's what makes me lazy. But yeah, Wait, I think I remember. But yeah, like there's a new grappler chick, and she's. It's not here. All right, cool. Never mind. I guess I'm wrong. So yeah, there's a new chick who looks like a grappler, and there was speculation that because of her design, she might have trained with Abel because she's wearing like the same blue gi.
That would actually be really interesting because Abel, like, there was parts of Abel that were cool, but I was kind of thinking like, just needs more personality. Abel's, pretty close to the living definition of bland. Oh, this Mimi chick. Okay, so this Mimi chick is supposed to be Abel's apprentice.
Yeah, maybe.
This is weird. Wooly pointed this out in his own talks on Street Fighter 6, but this is like we are seeing the next generation of the next generation here, right?
Yeah.
Like I still think of Abel as one of the new kids on the block for the Street Fighter roster, and it's like, oh yeah, here's Abel's apprentice. Shit.
I look forward to seeing Sean's kid.
You can kind of tell there's a generational thing with the Chinese fighters.
Yeah.
Because the first generation is Gin, and the second generation is Chunners, third gen is the twins, and now the fourth gen is Jamie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I really hope that Vince come back as an Ice Climbers character.
I've always thought one of the biggest missed opportunities of Street Fighter V was to have the twins added as a character and make it where the V trigger, V skill, whichever selection changes which twin you're playing.
Yeah, that could have been fine. I'm just like imagining that, like, basically what I'm imagining is that, like, here's Street Fighter 6. You can play Marvel vs. Capcom in it. You only need to play the twins. Yeah. The twins are also banned in tournaments.
Well, the twins have always been OP in every game. Well, yeah. No, not in every game, but yeah. The twins have always been the most notoriously OP Street Fighter characters. There we go.
Yeah, the twins were not OP in one version of a game they haven't been in, or they have been in, whatever.
Yeah, after they got nerfed pretty hard in Street Fighter 4, because when Arcade Edition first released, they were dominant. Oh boy.
Yeah. But there's also other news, which is that the Rumblefish 2 will get a console port.
What?
Yes. So the Rumblefish 2.
I don't know what that is.
The Rumblefish is an old, I want to say Dreamcast, but I'm looking it up. Give me a second. So, all right, you're not telling me what it was for. Whatever, it's an old series for, I think, the Dreamcast. That was only released in like Japan. And the second game, I forget I don't know when it came out. I think it's like the thing I'm reading says the 2000s by Dimps. And
Dimps.
Dimps.
Dimps. It's just fun to say. Sorry. I mean, you tell me that isn't fun to say. Dimps.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, it's getting a release or a re-release or a console port outside of Japan, really, in 2022, and yeah, it's an old fighting game made by Dimps. That's pretty much it. So yeah, there's that.
Always good to hear more old games getting brought forward and not being left behind to the ravages of time.
Man, I wish Bamco thought about fucking preservation. And I know it's not even a thing of, like, yeah.
Well, with Tekken 3, the problem is a certain little dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it up recently with Pink. I had to explain to him who Gon is. And then I had to explain why that means that Tekken 3 is never getting ported.
It doesn't really matter except that the dinosaur's a demon.
Yeah. But
he must be commenced back onto the fires of hell.
But like even with the games that they could port forward, like I know that it's a thing that Harada has brought up on his show to talk about, because he sees people asking for these games. I don't know, it wasn't on the show, it was on Twitter actually. I remember it now. Yeah, it was on Twitter, that he brought this up with his superiors a couple of times. The problem is that the superiors expect like analytics to back up people's interest, and the analytics don't show that there's enough interest in re-releases that for him to be able to counter-argue pretty much.
Yeah, that's one of those odd things. I guess there's just different corporate expectations there. Because Bamco was like, well, we need to prove that if we release Tekken 2, it would sell more than Tekken 7. Whereas Capcom's like, fuck it, just release everything!
Yeah.
All the old games, now!
I mean, I wish...
Red Earth is back, baby!
And then I'm on the sidelines like, man, I wish we got a new fucking Sengoku Basara collection. Not even a new game, just give me a port of all of the games on the PS5. I'll be set.
Well, there's some cooking there, I think. I don't know.
I mean,
well, you know what? No matter what we complain about, no matter what we complain about with Bamco, at least they've bothered to like port forward Tekken 2 onto the PS5. Fucking look at whatever nothing Konami is always doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did the Contra collection and Castlevania and stuff like that. So there's that, and they're also relisting Metal Gear on PS3 and Xbox 360.
That's true. They're getting better.
Yeah, and them relisting it on PS3 and Xbox 360 means that it might come to PS Plus in a couple months. So that's nice.
Yay! The real trick will be if they release the HD collection that was on Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah, that's what they're really relisting.
Oh!
Yeah, that's how they're celebrating the 15-year anniversary or whatever. I forget.
Oh, I thought I heard Metal Gear and I figured they were just porting like the original Metal Gear. I was like, oh, that's a weird choice, but okay.
No, you still can't play the original Metal Gear on new hardware, but the HD
you can.
Okay, then you can. But
if the HD remaster gets put on modern hardware, then the copy of Metal Gear Solid 3 that comes in the HD remaster comes with working copies of Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you can play the first three games, assuming that you still have a PS3 or Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So at least that's nice. They are never.
There is one funny thing though. The version of Metal Gear 2 included is the latest version of Metal Gear 2, which replaces all the portraits of real life famous people with actual artistic drawings. So you don't have where the Doctor is literally just a picture of fucking Einstein, or Snake isn't literally just a picture of Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh,
but all of that being said, Konami is never touching Bloody Roar again. at least it seems so.
No, doesn't seem so.
That is how we're going to be on new Rumble Roses. Look forward to it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if they could figure out a way to sell it, they would. But I think really the thing keeping Rumble Roses away is just that DOA is dead for now. And if DOA,
no fire time to strike.
But
people have never been more into waifu bullshit than it before.
That's true.
Is now a culture.
That's true, but at the same time, you have to think about this like a fucking 50-year-old businessman. If the king of horny bullshit has fallen, what can I, a measly peasant with Rumble Roses, can do?
That is true. They tend to operate not on the structure of if there's nothing there, put it there. They tend to operate on the structure of follow the leader, copy whatever is successful.
Yeah. And I'll also do pachinko. That's a necessity.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't forget to sexually harass your secretary.
Yeah, that too. And then I guess for the first topic, because there's a couple of those. I mean, this one just kind of came up, and not as a topic. I just figured it would be something interesting to talk about. But I listened to 3 pieces of music from SF6. which I've been skipping out on them because I was like, well, I don't really care, but you know.
Huh.
But I still got around to listening to Luke's, Chun-Li's, and Ryu's. Have you listened to any of them?
No, actually.
Okay, Ryu's and Chun-Li's is a big departure. Luke's is Luke's. I don't really have an opinion on it because like it's Luke. He's a new character. Whatever. Chun-Li is a thing where like, well, okay, I think it's an overall problem. It's a problem for me. I don't know if I would call it an inherent problem with the whole thing, but there's this thing with soundtracks where for fighting games, I prefer if characters have their themes. I prefer themes to fit the character rather than fit the game, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I can bring up Strive for example. Strive is a game where all of the character themes are rock and metal, but the different genres of rock and metal. Because you know, symphonic metal fits Kai Kisk, but symphonic metal will not fit Mei.
Yeah.
And the problem I saw in the OST that's been released so far, or at least the pieces I've heard, is that it all sounds kind of samey. Like there's things that I like that they're doing, but it's all kind of just like generic modern, like modern feeling 90s throwback hip hop, and I'm fine with that because I actually like I like the new Ryu song. I genuinely really like the new Ryu song. I don't know if it fits him, but I like it.
Huh.
But the Chun-Li song specifically, like with Ryu's song, I don't know if it fits him, but I'm questioning it. That means it kind of fits him, at least to me.
I can see rap fitting for Ryu because he's one part, martial artist, sure, but Ryu is also one part hobo,
Yeah, not only that, but it's also like it's rap with like infused with traditional Japanese instruments, and that just fits Ryu. Like that's good. That's cool. Chun-Li's team has a very vague like parts of her like Street Fighter 2 team, I think, remixed into it, but it's mostly just the rap beat and like moaning or whatever the fuck. and like there's certain ways you could have gone about it. I don't know if that fits Chun. Like that's the thing. Like the Chun-Li theme doesn't seem to fit her at all to me. Like it's not bad necessarily. It's just I don't know if it fits the character. It definitely fits the game though. Luke's theme sounds pretty much the same as Chun-Li's theme. And the Ryu's team also sounds very similar, and that's my problem. Once again, it's that like I get what they're going for, and you know it's a thing where like you go one way or the other, and they went the other way than what I'd prefer. Because like with this, you either go for a cohesive soundtrack, so that you can present as this is the game's identity, or you go the other way and you go, okay, so this is the song genre that would fit this character, so that's what we're gonna have. And then, those songs represent the character, not the game. But it's one of those things where, like, I feel if you're going for a cohesive standard for music in fighting games, then I feel it's better to have stage teams, because you can justify, like, especially if the stages are somewhat similar. But it's easier to justify stages having kind of generic, same feeling themes, because they're not specific to, like, they're not stages are not people. They don't really have that much personality. The stages can have personality if there's enough shit moving, but a city street is a city street is a city street, as we've learned in uni. But otherwise, if you're going for characters, I think it's better to approach it from the other way of, I don't know, fucking rap with traditional instruments infused works for Ryu, so he can have that, because that's kind of telling about the game and that's telling about Ryu as well. And then Chun, I don't know what music genre would fit Chun. Like when I think of W, are you here or is the rogue clan? Okay.
What?
It felt like you got out for a bit, so I wasn't sure if the rope.
I'm eating.
Okay. But like, I guess what musical genre would you say fits John? Because to me, if I had to point to like if you wanted to take a big departure from her traditional theme, which I can understand, and you had to point to a different genre of music for Chun-Li, what would you go with? Because for me, when I think of that, I think jazz for some reason.
Well, give me just a second. Well, honestly, like Street Fighter 6 going for a hip hop theme overall, I think you'd want to keep that, but have different kind of aesthetic hip hop. Genres on some level, I guess, would be kind of that.
Genres could be
And
R&B.
this, I could see that, but at the same time, Chunners, no matter what, you got to keep in mind, Chunners is the first lady of fighting games, right?
Yeah.
So for her, I'd almost feel like, well, they'd throw in some traditional Chinese instruments, of course, because she's Chinese, and generally wears traditional dresses. But beyond that, I'd say that Chunners should kind of have like this may not be a popular choice, but kind of girl boss themed rap. I think would make sense for her, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. Like I want to shout out like I want to shout out a couple of rappers at the same time, and I forgot all of them that they could have gone with for inspiration. But yeah, like in sports that you could argue that her team in Street Fighter 6 works, where like it's subdued and like mature and shit, and like I get it. It's just not like it's not what I would like it's not really what I think about when I think of the character. Like she's those things too, yes, but I don't think subdued. When I think of Chun-Li, I think she kicks ass.
Yeah.
Like Chun-Li is subdued until you actually attack her, and then she just like steps on your face 100 times in a second.
30 kicks.
Yeah.
Straight to the face.
Immediately. In a second.
Maximum chip.
What if they gave her a fucking Shakusatsu variant where she just does the kicks and then before she just goes die dirty deaths?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's that. Let me see if there's any other topics that I missed. But it does not seem. No, it's that seems to be it. So yeah, go ahead.
With the fighting collection having come out a couple weeks ago, and now it's not really relevant, I know, because I've been so caught up in playing the day-to-day games and the recent Total War news that I've kind of let other things slip me by. But with the fighting game collection out, like looking at it and thinking, with let's say Darkstalkers, if they want to, like let's just say they put forth the budget for a small Darkstalkers 4, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think it could be possible for a fourth Darkstalkers to really fit into the public eye, or would it just be, a fighting game enthusiast thing, but the mainstream would kind of just go, eh? Because it's easy to forget that Darkstalkers 1, 2, 3 did see, quite a bit of arcade popularity back in the day. It's just that they've now kind of been overshadowed by Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, partly because Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were the first, but also partly because Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter continued to get sequels while Darkstalkers didn't.
Yeah, I think it's a thing of like, you would need to like they would need to market it a lot, and even then, it depending on how they handle it, it might still only be like a enthusiast game. At the same time, you just make loot advertisements with Morrigan and Gallon, and the game is sold.
That is on some level true, yeah.
Like I know for a fact that those two characters sell the most from Darkstalkers.
Well, you know they would not launch without the combination of Morgan and Lilith.
Yeah.
Those two pretty well fucking constantly. Felicia. How did Felicia? Oh my god.
I think the thing
worse than Morgan or Gallon.
But no, that's the thing though. I don't see people talk about Felicia as much. I think it may be a thing like with Bayonetta, where the lack of clothes is so egregious that it cancels itself out and then stops being sexy or whatever.
I've always heard Felicia is the one that, alongside Lola from Space Jam, opened the door for a lot of folks like that.
I don't know. Like it's for a few and far in between that I see Felicia. I see like if I see Darkstalkers shit, it's usually Morrigan in normal spaces and Gallon in furry spaces. So like
that is true.
For every
you lean more towards the more animalistic side of it, right?
But yeah, but that's also a different thing. Like Felicia leans more towards zoomorphism, which technically isn't furry. Like it's
okay.
Yeah, it's an argument that has been had multiple times on the internet, not by me, but by many people.
Okay, I see.
So yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here. If we want to appeal to the Zoomers, you want to tell me that Victor is not the stinky meme of fighting game characters?
No, you're right.
Beats people to death. Like Victor, on some level, several of Victor's attacks are the actual fucking like Jerma walking away with a gigantic padded ass bit, right?
Only that, dude. Okay, Darkstalkers 4. It has, I don't know what graphics to compare it to, but it doesn't have the best graphics. Whatever. They entirely, like they advertise the entire game on nothing but fetishes, and then, but like not overtly that.
Oh no, is Victor inflation?
No, Victor is ass. Victor is reverse war.
Okay.
But yeah, fucking like I'm assuming in my head they do that, and it's not like overt enough that they would get like it's not overt enough that they would get shut down, but it's like Dimitrescu levels of overt. Like they know, and they know. Like that just happens to be a very like fucking like that just happens to be weird shots of Morrigan and like Felicia and Gallon in all of the trailers.
Dimitri is now shirtless and has a beard.
Yes.
Perhaps it would be if they wanted to go this direction. Perhaps Lord Raptor should step out for a little bit.
No, there's a lot of people who are into monsters. It's fine.
What the shit Lord Raptor does?
Yes. With the shit Lord Raptor does.
I'm gonna be honest, on some level, like when you get to this level of like fetishism, everything is like just looks like it's fetish material for somebody.
I mean,
right?
fucking doesn't I forget his name.
There is someone who watches the fucking World Poker Tournament and is like, oh, I don't know why, but I'm so aroused by this. Ugh.
I just had a thing occur to me. So isn't I forget his name, but isn't the Yeti's one out of his moves just his legs becoming bigger?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's literally Bigfoot, right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a. So yeah, Capcom, you need to sell Darkstalkers. You know how to do it now.
I mean, let's be real here. BB Hood would absolutely get over with modern audiences. They would love that kind of make BB Hood more of a smartass like Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like she, on some level, she's almost like a Harley Quinn, right? Not quite so sexualized or the clown thing, but like the whole gimmick is innocent looking, gigantic murder, kill them all.
Yeah, I mean that's why I love BB Hood, and that's why I used to play BB Hood for a while, because
Yeah,
like, you're like, man, I don't want to play fucking Red Riding Hood, and then she pulls out an Uzi.
Yeah,
like that's.
I remember.
Yeah.
When I got Capcom Fighting Collection, I wanted to show off parts of it to my dad, and I just happened to start Darkstalkers. I don't even remember who I picked. And the AI picks, of course, BB Hood. So I was like, oh, yeah, we got this cast of monsters and a little girl. And then she threw a grenade, and I was like, you can see why she fits.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's just always a fun trope to do when you have this cast of horrid monsters and one regular human, and it's made clear, oh, the human is the worst one of them.
Yeah. What if humans were the real monsters?
Yeah.
And then I got to Sylvie Paula. Actually,
she's not human.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually canonically confirmed demon, Sylvie Paula.
That's one of those funny things where that's like a double value there, right? Because for Japanese folk, it's like, oh, what a subversion! Innocent idol girl as monster. Whereas for Americans, it's like, yeah, she's a fucking demon, all right.
Yeah. I remember I played KOF 14 with family once, and they were like, okay, pick like the best characters. We want to see them. So I picked Choi and Sylvie. And I forget who else. I was banned from playing Choi or Sylvie for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Because like they eventually they whittled down Choi, enough that he actually died. And then with Sylvie has pretty good keep away, if you remember. And yeah. And the best part is, I actually played out of Sylvie for a bit because I genuinely unironically like how she plays for some reason. And her being a shitlord is just, fucking the cherry on top. But I exclusively play his Sylvie in the Red Riding Hood outfit. We just made it better.
Is my memory failing me, or does Sylvie not have Force Lightning?
She does. She has Force Lightning.
Unlimited power!
Yeah, she not only has Force Lightning, she also has the Force get off me button from The Force Unleashed.
Huh.
Where you shoot a shit ton of lightning out of yourself and throw people away.
Exactly what his owner needs.
Yeah. I wish Sylvie came back for 15. Sentences you never thought you'd hear. But like genuinely, out of all of the newcomers in 14, she left the biggest mark on me because I love how shit she is. Like not in the sense that she's bad, but in the sense that everyone hates her, and I get it. But that's kind of what makes her good. That's why I like her. Yeah. Everyone hates her.
Like she's like Lucky Chloe if Lucky Chloe was treated as she deserves to be treated, right?
Yeah. I remember I also tried to learning Lucky Chloe for the beam, and then the game was like, okay, so play a rhythm game on delay based netcode.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay, see ya.
Like, of all the fucking fighting games to get stuck with delay based netcode, Tekken's got to be the most brutal one. Because like the same thing will go on with like putting in all this time to learn a grab chain with King. And it's like, this will never fucking work online.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess, did you play any fighting games this week?
Actually, no. Other than the wrestling games, which I don't think, well, I talked about it last week, even if we did want to count it, so, yeah.
All right. Well, I played a couple of fighting games.
What were they?
So I got the UPS Plus with streaming. The UPS Plus comes with Darkstalkers
Oh,
Resurrection.
yeah. That actually does remind me. I did play one game a couple weeks ago, but I didn't talk about it.
Go
Do we
ahead.
want to hit it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tekken 2.
Ah, was this your first time?
Yes.
My condolences.
I actually really enjoyed it.
All right.
It's definitely primitive. It's not Tekken, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's Tekken characters into
It's
a fraction of their movesets, but it's not Tekken.
It's
Because
Tekken.
there's no 3D play.
It's Tekken characters in knockoff Virtua Fighter. Which I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of what Tekken was at the start. So you know.
Also, for some reason, big super jumps that are extra floaty, which are fucking useless.
That's what I remember in Virtua Fighter 2.
That was probably the case, but I've never put any time into any Virtua Fighters older than 4.
Yeah, this keeps happening where I'm just like, hey, obscure, or not even obscure game, just like old game, and then you go, oh yeah, I never played it, and then here I am sitting here with fucking like all of this knowledge of having played fighting games while not knowing what motion inputs are. And then since I only ever played the arcade versions, I also didn't have move lists. So you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't put a ton of Tekken time into Tekken 2, but I did get a kick out of figuring out very early on. The AI in Tekken 2 doesn't know how to deal with grabs, and I play King. So It was the arcade mode playthrough was just a fucking joke, because it's like, here's the infamously difficult Devil Kazuya. I don't care. Figure 4 leg lock. Time to go to school.
Yeah.
Woo! Elbow drop the coat. Flare flop. There we go. I win.
To beat the devil, you gotta beat the devil. And then just cue the Bob Ross clip of him fucking getting the paint off the paintbrush to beat the devil out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I played Tekken 2 through Tekken 5. Because Tekken 5 came with the arcade versions of 1, 2, and 3. And yeah. Did you not know
that explains why they can't port Tekken 5 either.
Fuck, you're right. Shit.
Uh-huh.
No, wait.
He ruins everything.
Wait,
the little dinosaur bastard.
No, Gon. I don't think Gon was in the arcade version. I think he was a home console exclusive.
But is there not a bunch of other home console exclusive stuff that people want?
I honestly think, well, okay, yeah, that would be home console exclusive shit that people would want, but like, you know, it's a thing of like, you either get no Tekken 3 or you get arcade Tekken 3 and Tekken 5. So
correct me if I'm wrong, was Dr. Boskanovich not a hidden character in Tekken 3?
I think him and Gon may be the only ones who were home console exclusive. I forget.
I will Google.
All right.
I will commit the Googling act. I'm Googling. It's so dirty.
But yeah, like my experience with
the home version came with Tekken Force and Tekken Ball. Or Tekken Ball, whatever.
Yeah, like the Tekken 3's home release had modes that were pretty vital to actually enjoying it, but you know, it's a thing of like, once again, you either get no Tekken 3 or the arcade release that's missing features. Like those are genuinely your options for now.
Okay, so the only two home console exclusive characters were Boskanovich and Gon.
Alright, I'm right, somehow. So yeah, and like my experience with those older Tekkens was that like, Tekken 1 and 2 were very janky in similar ways. 2 less so, but you know, you'd kind of expect that. And then 3 was just like I played 3 before I gained consciousness properly, I think. So so it was just like, oh yeah, I remember this game. And I just continued playing Tekken 5 instead. But yeah. So yeah, I played Darkstalkers Resurrection through the new PS Plus, and let me tell you, like I that was the first game I tried out with the new PS Plus or with the streaming, because that's a thing that they introduced over here with the new PS Plus, and I wanted to
Yeah.
see just how bad the delay is, and it's genuinely not that bad. Like, my internet connection is pretty
Yeah.
stable, all things considered, so that's probably why, or at least part of it. But it didn't feel like genuinely. It didn't feel even like I was playing online. Yeah.
I played through the entirety of God of War 2, God of War 2, and Chains of Olympus, I want to say, entirely through the PlayStation Now streaming. And there were lag spikes, of course, and a couple times where it dropped at bad times. But other than that, like, I generally had a pretty good time.
I haven't even had a drop at all. I had lag spikes during Saints Row 2, but I don't know if that was just the game lagging or if that was the stream lagging, because it was only when there were a lot of like explosions and people on screen. So that may just have been the game, honestly.
Well, I'll say that Sony must have really sprung for a monstrous video encoder, because it doesn't seem to have any problems with like particularly rough visuals, right?
Yeah. But so, Darkstalkers Resurrection. This was the first time I've played Darkstalkers in 15 years. Probably not actually that long, but genuinely, wait, 12 years, I think. I would have been like 7 the last time I played it. So yeah. And I went into training mode with John Talbane, and immediately most things came back somehow. The best part of it is that I never played John Talbane good. Like, I barely figured out how to do the like, I forget what it's called, the move where he charges forward and then you can change the direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only move I knew when I used to play him. I didn't even know that you could change it so it changes directions.
Huh.
So that was my Darkstalkers knowledge when I last played it, and now I have graduated to getting my shit kicked in by the AI, because I tried going against the easy AI, and the easy AI just stood there while I beat it, and I was like, I feel bad, so I put it on normal. So I put it on normal, and then proceeded to get fucking perfected. Cool.
Yep. Darkstalkers has that problem.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to fiddle around, because I think it actually works off of the old 8-star system, not like the 3 distinct difficulties. So I'm just gonna have to fuck around with the difficulty selector until I get to a difficulty that's actually good for me. But yeah, I tried that John, and I had fun. It was weird because, there's like Darkstalkers is weird to go back to now for me, because I kept catching myself just inputting air dashes, and there are no air dashes. So that was a thing. And the combos also feel weird for now, but that's literally just a thing of, like, I haven't played the game in a very long time, and when I last played, I didn't know how to do combo. So I will actually type, like, it is pretty much my first time interacting with the combo system in Darkstalkers.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also uses the opposite of the anti-air system from Guilty Gear, I believe, right?
What do you mean?
Doesn't Guilty Gear have the thing where you can air block specials, but you can't air block normals?
No, I think it's the other way around.
Well, whichever way it has it, Darkstalkers got it the other way around.
But yeah, I've also been kind of like, I've been focusing on other games too, so I didn't put in too much time into Darkstalkers, but I will revisit it because it's fun. Similarly,
it is definitely fun.
Similarly, I put even less time into this one, but this one I just had to check. So I played KOF 13 through the streaming service, and I own KOF 13 on PC. I've played through the arcade mode on PC. Here's the thing though.
But
On
it
my
doesn't run well, right?
on my PC, KOF 13 runs at the speeds of Street Fighter 2 vanilla. And that's
Ooh.
that's when there's not a lot of particle effects on screen. So
Ooh.
So I was just like, I want to see how the game actually runs when I control it, when it runs at normal speeds and not Street Fighter 2 vanilla. So I just went into training with Kim. I did a couple of like moves more or less, and then I figured out, oh wait, you can special cancel moves in this game. I didn't know that.
Ooh.
Because the window to special cancel things.
It's very tight.
Well, not only is it tight, but also Street Fighter 2 speeds is pretty much unhittable, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you would imagine that since the game is running slower, that it would leave the window open for longer. But you also have to account that because the game is running slower, it's taking my input slower too.
Oof.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play around with that game too sometime. But the KOF 13 has this problem though, where it feels like it feels like it's getting up there in the parts where we're at with modern games where there's not as much to do single player. So I'll still play through arcade mode with everyone, but it's fucking Ash in a red suit or in a white suit. That's the boss.
Yep. Legitimately, just straight up.
Fun fact: I wasn't able to beat that boss because the game would just freeze for a couple of seconds every time he'd do more than 2 projectiles.
Huh.
Like the boss version, anyway.
That's terrifying in a way.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a thing. Let's see. I also played a bit of Soul Calibur 6.
Okay, what did you think?
It's how do I put this in the right words? I get it. I get why it is in the way it is, but I cannot say that I am not disappointed. Is I think the best way I can put my words or my thoughts into words.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it not more or less just entirely built for multiplayer and nothing else?
It has a story mode and it has an RPG mode, but you can see it oozes that it had no budget, and they tried to do things, but it didn't work. At least not for me. Like the character creator is there. Online is a big focus because it came out like 2 years ago, 3. I don't remember when it came out, but whatever. But it's like the story is a visual novel style story, or the way it's told. It's told in visual novel style cutscenes, but the cutscenes are not as detailed as I would hope for them to be. Even still, like maybe I'm just like playing bougie fucking visual novels. All none of them that I am known for playing.
Yeah.
Like it maybe the ones that I've seen where had a bigger budget than Soul Calibur 6 somehow still. But like I'm used to it being a thing of like if shit's happening, it's like okay, so we'll have the person's portrait come on screen and then talk, and then if people bump into each other or something, then we just switch to a key art of that happening while it's happening to convey that something happened in things other than sound. And Soul Calibur 6 has this problem where it doesn't. It's just things happening in sound, and then you're looking at a painting of like a house, while Killick, the character art for Killick is talking to like a woman's head, and that's all on screen for like 5 minutes, and that's the first cutscene. Like sometimes they switch to showing items, but I think once it's key art, And once, or yeah, I think so. Whatever. I think once it's key art and once it's just like it's like rendered art in boxes on the screen or something like that. And basically, I just wish there was more key art. Basically, is what it boils down to. Because like, once again, I get it. Budget is small. They don't want to spend as much on single player or whatever. But single player is what Soul Calibur is known for.
Yeah,
and it
pretty well, and that's
saddens.
That's part of why it has such an awkward time fitting into modern fighting games.
Yeah, and it saddens me that this is how it ended up. And then there's also the RPG mode where you can make.
I mean, there was a steady decline because Soul Calibur 4 was already a pretty big step down.
Yeah, true.
And Soul Calibur 3, I think generally we're very fond of, but Soul Calibur 3, I don't know why, but generally the general gaming populace, specifically fighting game experts, for whatever reason, are not very fond of Soul Calibur 3, and I don't know why.
Because it didn't have Link.
That is true.
This came up because I brought Soul Calibur 6 up on our other podcast with Pink, and we brought up this also the thing of releasing games Memco, and I had to tell Pink, the reason you're not getting Soul Calibur 2 ported is because Link is in it.
Well, they ported Soul Calibur 2 forward using both Heihachi and Spawn. So, like, Link is not a necessity, but for people who specifically want the version of Soul Calibur 2 with Link, yeah, that's never happening again.
But then also, I assume
it was on some degree of miracle that it happened at all, right?
Yeah. And also, it's like a thing of like with Spawn, like they still need to require or like license out Spawn again if they want to port it again.
That is true, but different companies play harder or faster or looser with licensing, and I don't think that McFarlane is super stingy with Spawn. They were already able to get him twice, because for the original release and for the remaster they released about 10 years ago.
Yeah, and MK11. So I guess there's a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, hypothetically speaking, on Switch, they could one day release, like, Soul Calibur 2 Ultimate, and it could have Heihachi and Spawn and Link all at the same time, but that would take a lot of work, and I don't think Bamco wants to bother with Soul Cal after Soul Cal 6 turned out to be just kind of a big nothing.
I mean, not only that, but if I remember correctly, the game director before release came out and said, if Soul Calibur 6 does not do well, Soul Calibur is dead. So
Soul Calibur is dead then.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, Soul Calibur on some level, like, is a game that had a lot of investment going into its plot for everyone, and I think people are probably more or less comfortable with the series plot ending with 3, right? Or maybe 4. I guess, well, there's a lot of 5 that was not super great plot-wise.
Yeah, I can't talk about 4's plot because I never played 4. I know that 5's plot was, like, 5's plot was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Divorced from the rest of Soul Calibur's plot that I know, so.
And it revolved around a lot of the Soul Calibur classic characters turning out to be shitty people when they got older.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, Bamco on some level writes all of their characters as being, like, anytime someone actually steps up to the plate in a Bamco fighting game, it turns out they're a shit person.
Yeah. Man, I look forward to Lee Chao and getting the devil gene injected into him. The Devil Lee just does more Michael Jackson impressions. That's the only change. Did the cloud take him? It may have. Oh no.
My god.
Are you back?
I think so, but
right.
I think that might be a sign we want to wrap things up soon, not just because of the cloud, but also because I am feeling a bit sick to my stomach and would prefer not to shit my pants live on recording.
All right. So yeah,
I just ate a bunch. Not before the recording. I did, in fact, drink some digestive help stuff. So.
Yeah, I guess I'll move on with Soul Calibur 6 then. So another problem I had with that storytelling is that do you remember in 3 where in the Tale of Swords mode it would give you this big thing that you could read what the game loaded, and then you could just choose to ignore it and whatever.
Yeah,
that's mandatory now. You have to read that. You have to read those to continue, and it's a thing of like, it's
amazing.
Yeah, that's the point of the game mode, I guess. But at the same time, it's I wish there was a skip button for if I don't care and just want to play RPG without story.
Can we say this fits the bingo card for Addy mourns the death of arcade mode?
Yes. Sure.
And hour-long tangent about fighting game story.
Yeah.
I think we already had a 10-minute tangent unrelated to fighting games, the Robot Ninja thing. And there was a schedule slip, so I've got bingo.
Alright, cool.
My God.
So yeah.
Alright.
And then I also played Fighting EX Layer.
Okay, what did you think?
I liked it.
I am surprised by that. I thought you would dislike the combo system. I thought the string system was very similar to KI.
I have not figured out the string system yet, but I turned off the auto combos, and I chose my dude, Doctor in Dark. And it was like I never stopped playing Street Fighter EX.
Yeah, Fexel is like, despite the goofy low budgetness, Fexel has a really fun roster, right?
Yeah.
Like, every time I play old Skullomania, I'm a bit surprised by, like, this is such a weird character, but he's so distinctive, you know?
Yeah, I love Doctor in Dark because like I noticed that in my head I'm playing Rushdown. What's happening on screen is set play or like fucking zoning, maybe at most. Like a very aggressive zoning, but it's zoning nonetheless. Cause like usually what I do with Doctor in Dark is just aggressive pokes to keep people out, jump around, and then fucking like setting down bombs and get overhearing people into them.
Yeah.
Or if not, I don't know if you played Doctor in Dark, but I don't know if I think this is a new move. But if you do the get over here grab with him or whatever, the get over here version of the Dark Line, then when you hit people, it pops them up for a combo for free. So
there seemed to be a surprising amount of focus on juggle combos for it to be a Street Fighter inspired fighting game.
That's Street Fighter EX.
That is true. That you're 100% right. Can you please remind me what the name is of the Hindu wrestler dude?
Darum Mister.
Yes, thank you. I cannot remember any of the character names in Fexel because they're all so fucking weird, right?
Yeah, I wanted to play Cracker Jack, but he plays like Balrog. And
Cracker Jack's awesome. I love Cracker Jack.
I love Cracker Jack. I just don't know how to play him good. Like, I used to play him in EX2, I want to say. I used to know how to play him, but it's all gone. Like it's a complete opposite with Doctor in Dark. Because with Doctor in Dark, he picked up one new move, and I know how to play him better than ever, even though I haven't played Street Fighter EX in years. Cracker Jack, all gone.
There's something I appreciate about having a character who is just sport fighter.
Yeah.
Like, he's Casey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But in a fedora.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also wanted
so much charm.
I also wanted to, but couldn't play my favorite Street Fighter EX character, Terry Bogard.
Yeah. That one, I'll tell you, it's just Terry.
I know.
It's 100% just Terry.
I know. I saw.
I want to say they did go to the trouble of at least giving him like a mostly proper selection of his moves, so he's not just got the the power wave and the dunk and all that. But he's got both the dunk and the rising tackle at the same time, I believe, which is the number one sign of good Terry.
Yeah.
Like, I would say if it's a Terry that has both of those and how am I forgetting its name? Cherje! There you go, Cherje! That's the sign of a proper Terry, right? When he's got all three of those.
Yeah. But
Terry.
yeah. So yeah, finding EX there, the Gogi system is weird, but
it's amazing.
Like it's a thing of like the things that mix up how the game plays. I'm fine with. It's the stat boosts that I'm like, well, I get why they're in the game. Like I know that they have to balance, like they're there to balance out all of the weirdo shit, so that you don't just get like a character who's invincible half of the match and shit like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
yes.
At the same time, I also kind of wanted to see how they would have balanced making all of the Gogi things that you choose be weirdo shit. But as it is, yeah, go ahead.
For the limited time that I put into Fexel, I immediately was like, okay, darn Mr. Grappler, yeah. Oh, if I can connect the command grab, like all my command grab damage is doubled, and also my command grab range is doubled. So if they just vaguely are anywhere in my... Like, darn Mister becomes insane with the Grappler Gogi deck. And it's like, ordinarily with command grab characters, you gotta play around trying to force the opponent into situations where they get grabbed. Oh, darn Mister just grabs you for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are, when you are, how much health you got. Doesn't matter if you're on offense, darn Mister will still grab you.
Yeah. I play Doctrine Dark with Shinobi, the Shinobi deck, and that means that if I can keep you away for 6 seconds, which is very easy to do considering he's a zoner, but if I keep you away for 6 seconds, I get Sayer dashes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Isn't there one that just makes you invisible?
That's the one I'm talking about, yes. Like
Jesus.
It makes you invisible on forward dashes, or forward runs, rather, I think. Yeah. So, basically...
The cursed...
Yeah? Oh no, the cloud. It has taken him.
Cursed.
Okay.
Cursed mix-up.
Yeah.
I'm getting mixed up.
But yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Oh no. He was here, but he's gone now. The mix-up took him. It was
what
too...
What the fuck?
Okay. You're back.
Here I am. Here I are.
I guess I'll move on to my last thing, which wasn't playing something, but I wanted to bring it up, and then we can close the podcast, and hopefully that happens before your internet gives out completely. So, is it still here?
I am here. Okay. Yes.
I had to make sure. So yeah. I did as I said I would, and I actually went and watched a couple of more intermediate level play in DNF Duel. Because if you remember, I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, but I said that I watched a couple of videos of low level players, and that it looked kind of lame the way they have combos structured and shit.
Yeah.
So I watched more intermediate level play, and it's not as bad as I thought it was. The whole combo structure, it's still a bit too repetitive for my taste, but at the same time, it's a lot better than what I thought it was. So that's a plus. One thing that isn't really a thing against the game, but it was a funny realization, so I thought I'd bring it up, is that I found the game a lot more fun to watch when it was a 2x speed. But I think that just says more about the speed of games I like. Then again, like I say this, I watched Marvel 3 tournaments at 2x speed, and then understand what's going on for the most part. So, so maybe the problem is just me, But yeah, otherwise that game, like it's not for me. Like I got how the controls work because I watched a video where it was kind of explained during matches and stuff like that, and like it's a fine game. I just won't buy it, you know.
Yeah. People are welcome to enjoy what they enjoy.
Yeah,
The joy is joyous of joy, joy. Happy, happy,
yeah.
joy, joy, happy,
I just
happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy,
I
joy.
just wish Arxis made another XX for the people like me, and you know, amidst 5 of these games. But that's just wishful thinking. So yeah, I think we can call it there. Unless you have another topic, W.
Ah, hello, I am back. Yes, it seems to be happening with alarming frequency now.
All right. So yeah, I just said that we can probably call it there. Unless you have another topic.
Yes, fighting games were, because I need to go before not only internet drop, but also before I shit pant.
All right. Yeah, fighting games were.